Hello everybody, I hope you are doing well today. We will be doing our second lesson over subtracting integers, and our learning target is I can subtract integers. So quick review of adding integers. Remember, if they have the same signs, we will add them. If they are different signs, we'll subtract them. And we will always keep the sign of the higher number, which means the higher absolute value number, the number further from zero. So 3 plus 7, these have different signs. So we must subtract them. 7 minus 3 is 4. And keep the sign of the number further from 0, which would be the negative 7, so it is a negative 4. Same thing here, different signs, so subtract them and you get 11. 16 is further from 0, so it will be a positive 11. These are the same signs, so we'll add them together. 1 plus 1 is 2, and just keep the sign as a negative. And these two are opposites, negative 15 plus 15. Opposites are always going to be 0. And if you subtract them, 15 minus 15 is 0. So there are two different ways we're going to learn how to subtract integers today. The first one is by doing something called keep, add, opposite. You might have heard of it before. And there is also a second method I'll teach you that's kind of more my preferred method, but it's really whatever's up to you. So the first way, keep, add, opposite, is pretty simple. Keep the first number, change the addition to subtraction, and do the opposite of the second number. So keep the first one, it's a negative 7. Change the subtraction to addition. And the opposite of the second number is going to be, instead of 4, it is a negative 4. So this would be the keep, add, opposite. And negative 7 plus negative 4, these now have the same signs. We can see that pretty clearly. And so if they have the same signs, we may add them together and keep the sign of the higher number. So it's a negative 11. The second way to do it is to highlight the number and the sign in front of it. So I've got a 7 with a negative in front of it. I also have a 4 with a minus in front of it. And if you look at it, the minus and the negative look similar, and we will always treat them as if they were the same thing, which can confuse some people sometimes. But again, the negatives and the minus will mean the same thing. So we can consider this negative 7 and this minus 4 to really be a negative 7 and a negative 4, having the same signs. And so we will add them together. 7 plus 4 is 11. And keep the sign of the higher number. It is a negative 11. Alrighty. Next up, again, if we keep, add, opposite this, that's an A in the middle. Sorry about that. Keep the first number. Change the subtraction to addition. And the opposite of the last number is 5. Negative 5 is positive 5. And 8 plus 5 is a pretty easy 13. Easy breezy. Now, just to show it the other way again, if we have 8 minus negative 5, one thing that we really need to look at is we have a minus and a negative next to each other without a number in between. Now, there's a parenthesis there, but there's no number in between them, which means this is something called the additive inverse. An additive inverse means if you have a minus and a negative next to each other, they become addition because you're subtracting the opposite of 5, which is the same thing as adding 5. So key thing to note, if you have a minus and a negative right next to each other, make them addition. So now it's really just 8 plus 5, which is 13. And then I'll do one more with you guys, and then I'll give you a moment to try the rest on your own. Again, I can see here that we have a minus and a negative, and those are going to cancel each other out and become addition. So really it's negative 2 plus 9. And now if we take a look at this, we have a negative 2 and we have a positive 9, a plus 9. Those are opposite signs, so we must subtract them and keep the sign of the number further from 0. So it is a positive 7. Go ahead and take a minute, solve these last 5, and then play the video once you're ready. Hopefully this next one did not require any thinking. It's 0. 6 minus 6. Come on. 0. This next one, I'm going to start doing it the way that I prefer. If you would like to do keep, add, opposite, you can absolutely do it, but I'm going to start doing it just the one way. I can see that my 3 has a negative in front of it, and I can see my 10 has a minus in front of it, but a minus and a negative, like we said, can always be treated as the same thing. So these have the same signs, and we must add them together and keep the sign of the number further from 0. 10 is further from 0. It is a negative. I can see my minus and negative are next to each other here without a number separating them. So let's go ahead and change these bad boys into pluses. Now it's nice and easy. 1 plus 11, that is 12. Another one of these type of problems. I got a double negative here, or a minus and a negative. Now these have different signs because we have a negative 15 and a positive 8. So we got to subtract them. And 15 minus 8 is 7. Keep the sign of the higher number. That is a negative 8. The fact that the 8 was a negative at the start of the problem no longer matters because we did the additive inverse here and got rid of them. Now it's a plus. So this is not same signs. Add them. These are different signs. And last one, people get tricked up on this one because they see 7 and negative 7 and they go, oh, those are opposites. It's going to be 0. Not so fast, my friend. These two right here, additive inverse, now it is really 7 plus 7, which is 14. So that's how you do some subtracting integers. Let's do a little bit of problem solving. The roller coaster Desperado has a maximum height of 209 feet and a maximum drop of 225. And it's a drop, so it's going to be a negative 225 because it's going down. How far underground does the roller coaster go? So if we add these two heights together, it's going to tell us how far underground it goes. 209 plus negative 225, negative 225. No, these have different signs. Sorry, going too fast. These have different signs. And so we must subtract them. And if we subtract them, we will get a 16. Keep the sign of the higher number, though. The 225 is further from 0. It's negative 16 feet. So it's going to go 16 feet underground. Just a few more questions here, and then we're going to call it quits. Don't worry about this part right here. We already did problems like this. Evaluating expressions, we're simply going to take our number and plug it in for the letter. But be very careful. There's an 8 and a minus here. Those should not change. You should automatically have 8 minus something. Then we have a negative 6. So in parentheses, negative 6 here. Which hopefully we can see that we have a minus and a negative. Those become pluses. And 8 plus 6 equals 14. One more together, then I'll have you do the rest on your own. Take our negative 4, replace the y. So again, these three things are not being changed. You should keep those. The only thing changing is y. So negative 9 minus, and then in parentheses, let's go ahead and throw a negative 4 in here instead of having a y. Do our additive inverse, and now we have two different signs, opposite signs. We have negative 9, and we have a positive 4, which means subtract them. You get a 5, and the 9 is further from 0, so it is a negative. Go ahead and take a minute, pause the video, and do these next three. Alrighty, for this one, it would be negative 2 minus 6. Same signs here, so add them. It'll be a negative 8. Plug in the 8, so it's negative 6 minus 8. Again, we have same signs, so we add them. 14, and it will be negative. And last one, negative 1 minus negative 6. This is our additive inverse here, which means they have opposite signs now. Subtract them. The answer is 5. We're going to skip the modeling on a number line because we seem to have a firm foundation at this point. Why is it necessary to change subtraction to addition? You want to make sure that you change the subtraction to addition here just so that way you have a clear concept of what you need to do. Compare the following problems. What is the difference? Well, this one has a straight up minus, it's a 0. The difference between these two is, well, the first 4 doesn't have a negative on the first one, it has a negative on the second one. So now these are same signs, negative 8. Now the signs are in different spots, so the second 4 is negative, the first 4 is not, and it's going to be an additive inverse problem, so now it's positive 8. And now there's another negative, so another additive inverse, different signs. We're going to get a 0 again here because they have different signs. So be careful where the negatives are. And that's going to do it for our notes today. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I hope you guys have a great day.